Welcome to the Spiritually Empowered Podcast, your virtual sanctuary for soul growth, spiritual healing, divine purpose, and conscious manifestation. Together we'll explore mysticism and magic, Buddhist and yogic teachings for inner liberation, shamanic energy medicine, psychic development, and tools to wield your power and protect your energy during this time of global awakening. I'm Ashley Coleman, ordained shamanic minister, advanced energy medicine practitioner, spiritual teacher, and devoted student of life's deepest mysteries. I'm here to help you alchemize ancient soul wounds, reclaim your power, and rise into your sacred calling to bring healing to this world in a way that only you can. I'm so honored to be here with you. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Spiritually Empowered Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Coleman. Thank you so much for pressing play today. Today, I wanted to share with you about the shamanic prophecy of the times that we're in and what does it mean to recover lost parts of your soul. I am somebody who spent 7 years addicted to pot and somebody who has privilege. And I really struggled on the inside. I had battle after battle on the inside with binge eating and addiction. I've now since been sober for over a decade. I'm in a healthy, amazing relationship with my partner in our dream home, have studied shamanic energy medicine in depth, along with other energy medicine modalities and philosophies specific to Eastern philosophies of Taoism and Buddhism and Hinduism and all of that amazing wealth of wisdom that is needed in the Western world right now. And I am somebody who has had the honor of helping hundreds of people reclaim their power and heal at the level of soul. So instead of just resolving issues at the surface level and they come back, this is about tracking into the soul wounds. And the shamans that I've studied with in the high Andes mountains of Peru say, there's only one ailment, there's only one disease, and there's one cure. And the one disease is being out of Aini, out of right relationship with your soul. And the one cure is to get back into harmony with the natural world and with your soul. And in this life, we are conditioned, we are programmed, we are trained like cattle to walk in line, to wear a mask. And what we want, I believe, at our deepest level is love. And we learn as children what gets us love and what does not get us love. And so we take on the qualities and enhance the qualities that get us love. And I remember what I thought would get me love in middle school was wearing the absolute tightest pants I could ever wear. My stomach is so happy to be in these comfy pants today. I used to wear the tightest pants and just show my body because I was doing as the media was doing. I was doing as the TV and the songs, and I was programmed like we all are. The conditions of our environment affect us. You can't heal in an imbalanced environment. So the shamans that I've studied with say we have to die to our past. We have to understand our soul wounds. And the good news is there are only 3 or 4. There's only a couple soul wounds, and these are the big ones. Fear of abandonment, separation from source, fear of your power, fear of death. And I've shamanically tracked core wounds with clients for many years. And so I've seen the big ones, and they are common. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. And until we resolve those wounds at the level of soul, we will keep what I call looping, where we have a different relationship, but the same feeling of betrayal, where we have a different job, but the same feeling of I'm not worthy. So you're the common denominator. In life, God loves you so much that you will keep confronting these soul parts, these wounds, Because the goal, my love, is to heal. To heal means to become whole again. And I want to bring you into a teaching of shamanic soul loss and what happens when we experience a traumatic event. And this is where the fragmentation happens. When we are young, all healing is inner child healing. From 0 to 7, we're an unconscious mind. That's when the core programming gets set up. And we can change that. We can alter our programming. Neuroplasticity, we can change. You can change. Maybe you've been struggling with something for 10 years, 50 years. I believe in my soul. I hold this belief. This can leave, this can change, and it's destined to. That's why you found this video, because your soul guided you here. This is a message for you. When we experience a traumatic event, very often what we do is we fragment, we disconnect. And this is seen, trigger warning, in war veterans who were in a traumatic experience and they see themselves hovering above the experience. That's soul loss. So, in order to self preserve in traumatic experiences, often, especially when we're very young, we separate, we disconnect, we split off from our totality. And that creates a lot of problems growing up, because if you're not completely present in your body, what is nature abhors a vacuum. So if you are not taking up space in your being, something else is. And that's when we talk about entity attachment, ancestor attachment, energies occupying your space because a part of you disconnected. And in my mentorship for women, Sovereign Soul, my signature mentorship, we just last night dove into a process where we met a part of our soul that had been lost to trauma. Welcome back, my love. This part fleed in a traumatic experience, not as a, you're so bad, I can't believe you left, but thank you for doing everything you knew how to do. When we do this deep soul retrieval work, you invite the part back with love. Thank you for doing everything that you knew how to do at the time. You did wonderful. We don't disconnect from ourselves in order to hate ourselves or to abandon ourselves. We don't have that intention. Try this on. Every part of you has a positive intention. There is no self-saboteur. There is no part of you that wants to do wrong by you. It thinks that it's doing the best thing for you. So that's when love is the fuel that we use to reconnect with ourselves. In my 7-year addiction, I disconnected. In my binge eating, I disconnected. I severed. And you could say that in childhood, I had already severed. Because I had severed, something else came into my field: addiction, codependent relationships. So that rift had already taken place. And I walked through that journey to really understand addiction. I've gone on to help hundreds of people recover from addiction. And the fulfillment of that greater purpose makes it worth it, what I went through. I don't want to go back because I didn't want to be here anymore. And it really makes it worth it, everything I went through. Everything has a purpose. In every shadow, there's a light. In every light, there's a shadow. This is the law of balance. And my Mystic Monday episode this week is all about the law of balance. I will tag that in the video so that you can check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening on Spotify, I will put the link in the show notes. So how do you return to wholeness? Here's a practice. Since I experienced so much escapism in my life, I got to train myself to stay in my body no matter what I felt because I would feel a big emotion and I would disconnect. I would self abandon. That's what that is. And I made a promise, I made a vow, and I said, Ashley, I'm never leaving you again from this day forward. And if you've been on this journey of self abandonment, today's the day of your vow. If you choose it to be, you can write a vow today. From this day forward, I'm never leaving you again. And I trained myself to be present in my body no matter what I felt. And I would tap my legs and I would make a promise every morning. I am completely present in my body no matter what I feel. Even pleasure has felt challenging for me because you can't numb pain without numbing pleasure. Two sides of the same coin. If you numb one, you numb the other. So with the women that I help, often it's hard to access pleasure because they've numbed different parts of their emotions so as to self-preserve. So the practice I want to give you today is seated meditation. It is the alchemical marriage of marrying your loving awareness, marrying that with your body and your emotions so that you are observing and you are inside of your experience observing. And you are promising yourself, I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. You're unblending from the inner child. That's a hypnotherapy technique. To unblend from the inner child is to wake up in the dream. Because when you get triggered, you time travel back to when you were 2, back to when you were 5. A trigger is time travel. So you get blended with that wound again, and it could possess you. And then you could react and do things that you later regret. Emotions without boundaries are self-possession, where our nervous system gets hijacked by an emotion, anger, fear, doubt. It gets hijacked. It colors your whole experience. You're in a state of that emotion. And if that happens, when that happens, I want you to wake up in the dream. Oh my gosh, this is my 2-year-old who feels so scared and unsafe. And I am, however old your age is, say your age. Tell your inner child, I'm 32 now. Unblend. Wake up in the dream. Bring your loving awareness into the depths of your emotions and say, I'm staying with you. That's a divine masculine principle. The emotional body, the intuition, the love is the feminine, not gender energy. And you first learned that by your mother or whatever that experience was like for you, whether you had one, didn't, stepmom, whatever that was. Our imprints of unconditional love come through the mother, and our imprints of boundaries come through the father. The masculine energy, there's a little bit of gender there, right? Because we learn those imprints from our parents. And the masculine represents action, boundaries. It guides and directs. And if you want to get really into it, the feminine also has masculine qualities, and the masculine also has feminine qualities, just like the yin and the yang symbol. There's both in both. So it's not so black and white. The father is meant to teach you how to self-protect. And a lot of the women specifically that I help have wounds there. Maybe dad provided for you financially and locked the doors at night, but maybe he abandoned your emotional body and said you're too much. So whatever you did not get as a child is your task now. For me, my father provided and still does in a large way financially. And he's so amazing and so loving. And he called me crazy for my bigness, my expression, my emotions. He never he never had the capacity to meet me at my depth. And I used to idolize him because of, he freed me from having to work a 9 to 5 in a large way. And I used to idolize him for that. Wow, you've given me so much. And so a part of my waking up in the dream is thank you for what you've given me. And here's what you didn't give me. And I forgive you for that. And it's okay if he's never able to meet me in that depth. So that's my task now. I'm daddy now. I'm mommy now. I'm daddy now. As an adult, we want to individuate from our upbringing. We want to individuate. Carl Jung, who coined the term shadow, speaks about separating from your family, dying to the curses in your bloodline, as the shamans might put it, dying to the genetic diseases, as the scientists or medical doctors might put it. And this is an energetic process. It happens in the invisible world. This is the mystic's path. We alter the invisible blueprint, the beliefs and the stories and the emotions and the identities, and then physical reality morphs. Energy directs matter. The feminine is the energy, the emotions, the desire, the love. I had an idea. I want to write a poetry book. And I would walk to my college classes and the poems would just run through me. And I would grab my phone. I would be looking down, probably tripping over stuff, typing out these poems all the way through, word to word. It was like it was given to me. The feminine is the channel and the oracle. And the masculine said, let me write it down. Let me take you on the journey of publishing a book, which is quite a journey. So the masculine is the linear steps from A to B. Here's the art of the feminine, the oracle, the intuition, the bridge between worlds, the feminine energy. And the masculine takes the dream and makes it real. And I used to wait for a savior. And that is the disembodied feminine. I was waiting for somebody to make me famous. I was watching American Idol. When is somebody going to make me what I want to be? And that's actually the wounded maiden who's waiting to be saved, who's waiting in the castle for the prince to slay the dragon, right? You're the dragon, you're the prince, you're the castle, you're the queen. You're all the symbols. It's all you, boo, as I like to say, just like your dreams. Every character in your dream is a projection of your unconscious. How amazing is that? It's all you. So nobody was going to come and hold my hand and walk me through that process. I had to figure out, how do you get a barcode? So I brought my inner masculine. I evolved my inner masculine. I said, I need you. Can you help me bring this to life? A feminine energy without the masculine will never bring her gifts to the public, will never take action. And masculine energy without the feminine has no heart, has no attunement, has no life force. It's just get to the goal, get to the goal, get to the goal, and go study with my partner if that's you, because that's who he helps. Get to the goal, get to the goal. No life force, no love, no creativity. Life is black and white. That's the feminine imbalance, where there's not enough feminine. Too much feminine is possessed by the emotions, living up above the body, not wanting to come into separateness, come into the identity of I am. I'll stay in the spirit world. I'll stay in the idea land. I'll stay in the dreams. That was so me. I was like, I don't want to get down here. Screw that. It's imperfect. I'm going to be embarrassed. I have shame. I'm going to just hover up here. I'm going to live in the spirit world. I'm going to talk to my spirits, and I'm just going to disconnect. That's shame dressed up as spiritual enlightenment, by the way. And I love myself deeply, and I've walked through that, and I'm still walking through that. So I got down onto earth. I humbled myself to the human experience of getting from point A to point B, because in the spirit world, you can jump from A to B to C to F to D. In matter, you got to walk the linear path from 1 to 2 to 3. There's beauty in that. There's sexiness in the linear. So for the spiritual women that I help, I tell them, come down from heaven. We're waiting to witness your gifts. Come down from heaven, grow your inner masculine, become your own shaman, be a protector of your soul, especially if you want a masculine man to protect and provide. You cannot get what you have not given yourself. And that's just the law of energy. Like attracts like. If it's so different, it repels. So, one tangible practice here, my love, is to make a vow to commit. I am completely here with you. That's the first step, is the end of self-abandonment. I'm never leaving your side again. Speaking that to your inner child and actually experiencing the emotions through your body instead of just pulling cards and saging them away. Actually humbling yourself to the human experience of emotions, because you can't move through something that you haven't moved through. So step one is to completely be in this experience of feelings. What is it like? Instead of thinking about it, instead of writing a gratitude list, all those things are great. But instead of doing that, get on all fours and start raging consciously, safely. Dance, growl. When I feel a lot of deep, dark, heavy energy, sometimes I put on music, I close the door, and I start growling and listening to rock and roll and just dancing with the demons, so to speak, because I want to be a master over them. I am in control, not them, because if they're in control, that's called possession, when you're possessed by the emotional body. And yes, that's connected to spirit possession. So to be a master of them is to love them and guide them and be the authority. And that's exactly how I help women. I walk them through this process of being their inner authority. So you're in the right place if you're loving this, if this is calling you out a little bit. And I want you to take away a practice here, and that is that emotional alchemy of moving. Act out your feelings safely. I like to set a timer, or say, I'm going to move through this for 4 songs and then I'm going to cool down. And so you are guiding the show. You're bringing the unconscious to the conscious mind. That's the alchemical marriage. Your body is the unconscious mind. Your awareness is the conscious mind. So you're marrying the two. To heal means to become whole again. So I have those 2 practices for you. Well, technically 3. One is make a vow. If you've been living out of balance, out of alignment, if you've been saying yes when you mean no, if you've been in the world of addiction, if you've been denying your truth, why wait until you're 80 on your deathbed, or 90, hopefully 100, 105? Why would you wait? You can't outrun it. You cannot outrun imbalance. You can kick the can down the road. It's just going to get worse. It's just going to get heavier. You're running from something, and the snowball's just going to get bigger. So today's a really good day to liberate yourself. The shamans don't wait. Today is an amazing day. All time is now. Writing in your journal, my darling love, however you want to say it, I am never leaving you again. From this moment forward, you don't even have to know how. Just make the commitment, make the vow, and ask your soul to guide you. And your number one task and your number one priority is to be right with your soul, to get right with your soul. And then the other practice is seated meditation, where you actually let the emotions come in, where you let yourself sit, not get lost. You're remaining lucid, awake, and aware. Getting lost is getting possessed. And I've been there, no judgment. I know what that feels like, and it's hellish. It is hell. And even when you go through that, there's always a gift on the other side. Nothing's wasted with God. Nothing's wasted. Everything bears fruit if you're willing to listen to your soul and make proper changes. So, seated meditation. I am completely in my body now, no matter what I feel. Chant that. I'm completely present here, no matter what I feel. I am in my body. I am in my body. I am completely here now. All of me is here now. Notice the difference. And then third practice is dance. Put on some sexy, dark music, whatever you want. Maybe that's just me, but follow me on Spotify if you want some ideas there with playlists. I've got a lot of that. I will put my Spotify below. Why not? Check the description for that. And act out your feelings. Own them or they gonna own you. Set a timer, close the door, get in there, growl, cry, grieve. Love what arises and express it. It's safe now. It wasn't safe 15 years ago. It wasn't safe when you were 5. Now, you're the shaman. You're the mom and the dad. You're the lover. You are every character in your story. And today is an amazing day to love greater than fear, to love greater than doubt, and to get in the mud with yourself and frickin' move through the emotions. You cannot clear something you haven't loved or moving through. I believe in you. And these are all practices that I do and that have changed my life and that I've taught for probably 6 or 7 years. And I'm doing it with you. You can't just hear this. Well, maybe you can. I don't like to put too much absolutes in here, but I'm really inviting you to walk the talk here. And it's actually, you'll find out once you actually surrender to the practice, you'll find out that it's kind of fun, kind of interesting, and pretty epic what happens. I believe in you. Drop any questions below if you want me to do a whole video on the unconscious mind and what it is, and if you want me to tease that apart. I'm a total nerd with this. I've studied so much and I'm so excited to have this community where I get to bring this through to support you in your power. We really need you in your power and in your truth right now. The world needs you to stand in your right relationship with your truth and your heart. It really affects us. So we need you for that. Thank you for that. And let me know in the comments how this impacted you if you would. Remember to subscribe, like, follow, rate, all the things to help me get these teachings out there. I really, really appreciate it. It really helps me grow this community and help more people. So thank you for that, and drop any questions below and I will keep the good stuff coming. I love you and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you loved this episode, share it with somebody who you really feel would benefit from this message. I'm sending you lots of love and I'll see you in the next episode.